Welcome to Elite Expert Insider Podcast, where we will inspire, motivate, and educate entrepreneurs, innovators, and growth seekers. Brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, making the best and brightest in the industry #1 best-selling authors. 80% of people say they want to write a book. We're assuming that's the same for you. If so, contact us at www.eliteonlinepublishing.com and make your book a reality. Hey, Melanie Johnson here with another great podcast, along with my friend and business partner, Jen Foster. Hey, Jen, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks, Melanie.
Good. Well, you know what? We have a great podcast today, and it's almost like a four-letter word, but it's not a four-letter word, accountability. How many of us struggle with accountability, not just us personally, but getting our clients to be accountable as well? So we have experts on that today. We're going to learn about that. But before all that, we want to make sure you subscribe, because we always have great offers. A lot of times our guests give things away, so you don't want to miss that. We give tons and tons of awesome information. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, subscribe, and you can get us on Alexa now too. So make sure that you stay in touch with us. And if you want to publish your book, don't forget, Jen and I own Elite Online Publishing, where we have made over 50 authors #1 bestsellers. And I have to brag just a little bit. That means every single author that we've published, we've made a bestseller. And so we'd love to work with you. You can go on our website and hit the submit buttons. But now we're going to talk about that ugly word that, we wake up in the middle of the night going, I should have done this, to that accountability. So today we have Brian Hubbard and Matt Fritzie. I don't know if I said it right, but pretty close.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Fritchie. It's Richie with an F.
So, and they are experts. They own a company that is tell me the name of your company. I lost it. Amplified Minds. So they own Amplified Minds, and they are just crushing it. So they're going to, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, thanks you so much for having us here today. We're very excited to be on this podcast and be able to talk about who, what, why, where, when, all that stuff. We're excited.
Especially talking about accountability. I mean, it's funny that there's two of us on one little screen here. We know, we know a little thing about accountability. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Matt and Brian. So go ahead and start us off with kind of where you're from and how you got to be this amazing Amplified Minds accountability company.
You go first?
Okay, I'll go first. So once again, my name is Brian Hubbard with Amplified Minds, and kind of how everything started was Matt and I have similar backgrounds, but at the same time, we have a little bit of a different when it comes to education that took us to where we are at now. So I went to the University of Utah. I got my bachelor's degree there, and I did exercise science, went into chemistry and Portuguese and pre-med and pre-dental, and I was doing all this stuff with the general education. But at the same time, I always knew that I wanted to do something greater, something as an entrepreneur, because my dad, he had that tick in him, and he kind of implanted that tick into myself as well. And I always wanted to be able to do something where people, it was something within the personal development, leadership development. I didn't know exactly what it was. But going through general education, through college, I quickly learned, over a course of 4.5 or 5 years, quickly learned that general education is not the way that I think the world needs to be moving. Also, that it needs to grow faster and happen faster and go more into the niche that you're needing to be in. So after I got out of college, I was kind of like most people, where I didn't use my degree whatsoever. I got right into sales, and I loved that because I was dealing with individuals. But a lot of the things with sales, kind of one of the magic things is accountability. You have to be held accountable to yourself, where you're someone that could work mobily, where you're out and about, remote at your house, to be held accountable to yourself to make that happen. And also accountability is follow-up. That's another word we'll be using a lot. If you don't follow up with people, obviously sales are not going to happen. And it's crazy, because I was just always seeing people out there trying to get these new sales or trying to work with these individuals, and then they just wouldn't follow up with them. It was like they wanted the sale, but they didn't want it. And it never made sense to me, but it was always accountability. I mean, anybody that's married, they know accountability, or if they're just by themselves or dating, you have to be held accountable by someone to really make sure that it happens. And then it was when I met Matt Fritchie that he had this vision of something greater, that's called Amplified Minds. And we had this very similar mindset that accountability was something that was going to move this world forward, and it needed to be implemented as fast as possible. So when I met Matt, I'll let him tell his story, but then I'll let him take it from thereafter, because that's where the magic really started happening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that kind of semi-intro. For me, I was a different kid. I thought that the world was endless in its possibilities. I used to carry around a little note card every single day with me, and I would take it to class, and I'd put it on my desk. And on that note card were my top goals that I wanted to achieve when I was 25 years old. And I could give you dozens of stories where I had people who did similar things, but I'll tell one story. I had a teacher who came up, she looked at the note card, she asked, "What is this?" And I said, that's who I want to be. That's what I want to accomplish. And I remember her pulling up a chair right in front of me saying, "Matt, I'm sorry, you're not smart enough to ever get the grades, to get into a good enough college, to get a good enough job, to ever make that kind of money. If I were you, I would change your goals. I would change your dreams because you're not smart enough to be that person." So, and I'm telling you, there were other stories where I could tell you I was in the principal's office with the counselors, so many teachers, my parents, where the teachers said the same thing. "Your kid's nuts. He's not good enough to be this person that he's dreaming himself to be. He needs to change who he thinks he can be, or else he's going to mess up his life." And it wasn't until I started asking for help from my brother, who was very well off when he was 25 years old, living in his mansion with his collection of Porsches. And I went and I asked him for help, and he got me in that environment of individuals who held me accountable to the person that I wanted to be. So these people would reach out to me frequently and say, "Hey, Matt, I'm just checking in. How's everything going? What goals are you setting now? What goals are you achieving? How can I help more?" And that made me fall in love with that process of accountability, because it's the reason why I am who I am today. It's the reason why I achieved some of those goals that I had set when I was 12 years old by the time I was 25. And it meant so much to me that I thought there's got to be a way to give it back. And luckily, I met Brian, and Brian became my accountability partner, because at the time I was thinking, well, there's so many things I can do with it. What in the world do I do with it? We put it into place when Brian and I partnered up. And now what we do is we help coaches and speakers scale their abilities by providing accountability partners to their clients. And our accountability partners learn their programs, and they check in throughout the week via text and face-to-face and even mastermind groups, and hold those clients accountable to the coach's program. And with a 98.5% achievement rate, I say it works pretty well.
So kind of walk us through that. So, a lot of speakers, coaches, they have ancillary products that they sell. Even, regular businesses may have products that they sell, but unless someone's actually using them, they have no testimonial, right? Afterwards, they can't say the product was great. You buy stuff, whether it's a new lipstick, even for us chicks, you're throwing it in the drawer and you can't say it was wonderful or anything. So walk us through what that accountability should look like, and what the pitfalls that they're having. So I know even with us, we sell something and then maybe we're not following through to make sure the client is doing everything they're supposed to be doing. So walk us through what that kind of looks like step by step.
Well, I would kind of say there's a lot of different answers to that, because every single person is an actual individual. They're not a number whatsoever. And that's where we come into play, is everything that we provide is very individualistic and very set to that person. So a generic answer obviously is follow up with the person to be able to make sure they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, and also the things that they're wanting to be doing. Those things sometimes are similar or they're different, but there's different ways we go about it. Text messaging.
Maybe like a client that you had, of what you did for them,
Sure.
How you broke it down and what the problems they were having, and then how you fixed that by what you did.
Yeah, so the basic of what we do is everything through text messaging. And the reason that we do that is because email open rates, in-app notification open rates, read rates are just horrible. Sure, when you're needing to be able to put large information over, you have to do email. But we found that text messaging, you look at my phone or Matt's phone, you're going to see a couple text messages, maybe zero because we're getting back to them. But there could be hundreds, if not thousands of emails or in-app notifications that are just everywhere. But the thing is people always get back to text messaging. And also what's really great about that is accountability needs to be when that person needs it, right? So text messaging, if you need that that accountability from your accountability partner, which is what we provide, they're there for you 24/7, and they can help you out with the individualistic problem that you're having. And Matt will talk a little bit more on that, but we do text messaging. Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking, you had said, give us an example of someone that you had helped. And we have, I mean, I could give you a list of people, of coaches that we have, but for a lot of our coaches who come to us, they're at that point where they have that program and they want to be able to create more programs and deliver more programs, or they want to be able to take on more clients. For us, we go in, we learn their program. I don't want to say we become the coach because we're not the face of the business, but we are that accountability partner who learns the program, goes in and helps the coach scale their abilities. So we allow the coach more time to deliver more products, go find more clients, get up on stage more, and we take on the fulfillment of the program. So we take all the clients, we run them through the program. This is where you should be. Brian had mentioned that. This is where you should be. This is where you want to be going. We establish visions with them. Now, these are some of the tasks that you need to get done in order to get there using this program. And then after the end of each week, we go back in and we check in on what they did accomplish. We show them those results, and then we show the coach the results. So for the coach, he's getting this tool that shows him or her how their program is performing, how people are using it. If it's effective, we can go back to them and say, people aren't getting this, adjust it. We can go back to him and say, people are using this like crazy. Go double your efforts in your, and in your advertising. Let's get more people because people love this. And we can deliver a lot of that information while the coach has all the time in the world to do whatever they want to do.
I love that. And I love that you guys niche just on coaches and speakers, because that niche really defines who you are and who you can help. And when you first told me about this program, I was thinking, oh, this is so awesome. You guys probably have it all automated. And then when you said it was real time, real people texting or doing masterminds for coaches and speakers, like hosting their masterminds for them, I thought, wow, that's so amazing that you guys can have that flexibility for the coach or speaker to be able to free up that time, but their clients are still getting that one-on-one attention instead of the just automated who knows who's behind that, right? Who's behind the text message. So I love that you guys are personable and that it's a real person.
And just to touch on that and to kind of go off of it is, with this world becoming so automated, which is fantastic, it needs to be in its own section. As you said, it's personable. That's something that is slowly dying because of the automation, but everybody respects it and loves it. When you get into a program, when you buy something, it's so nice to be able to get a call from somebody, to be able to say, how's it going? What did you think about that? I mean, you get a chat box and you don't know if you're talking to a computer or to a person. And if you set a reminder on your phone, hey, remind me to do this, it's a reminder. When you're getting somebody saying, hey, how did this go? Even if it's saying it's similar, very similar, it now becomes accountability. And that's where just the magic happens. It's because it's a real person. Every single person that we help out with, there's a real person, and they're trained, certified on the right types of questions to ask, getting the vision, all the certain things that they need to be able to make sure that you, the end client, the end customer, is achieving the goals. That is our end goal, is to help you achieve your goals.
So the accountability part of what you're doing, so if anyone does this, whether you hire these guys to do it or you try and do it yourself or get a VA to do it, what are the metrics? What is the benefit that you're seeing of return on investment for this, of the time and energy, whether you hire somebody or you do it yourself? What are the companies getting out of it?
I love that question. I'll say one thing right out of the gates. I hear a lot of coaches who come in, especially new coaches, they don't know what in the world to price themselves at. And I hear a lot of other coaches who are like, I'm trying to figure out a way to raise my prices. So for the coach to add in value like us, where it's accountability, where we're reaching out every single week throughout the week, that gives them a lot of reason to raise their own prices, which is fantastic. So, the return on investment on us, all we're doing is we're allowing them to charge up their price significantly. We come in and we have our own costs, and we're not trying to take half of your business. We're not, our prices are actually extremely reasonable. We keep getting people saying, how in the world are you guys profitable? And we go, I guess we need to raise our prices. So for a coach to introduce us into their whole system, the return on investment is almost immediate, because they do get that time back. They have the ability to raise their prices, which is fantastic. They can go create more programs. They can get up on stage more, all those things that I've already talked about. And for us to show them, hey, by the way, your clients are achieving 98.5% of their goals using your program, we make coaches look like superheroes. We make speakers look like superheroes, because now their programs And I want to say this very carefully. Of course, your programs are very valuable and they work great. Mm-hmm. But if we can add that many more touch points on how your program is so great for these people and how it can help them in their lives, you truly become that superhero. So at one point, we actually had an advertising campaign where we said, you're your superhero and we're your superpowers. So for us, we want to be your superpowers.
So basically, for anyone who has a business, I think that one of the key takeaways is really the follow-up with your clients, whether you're selling a product or service or they already have one. Use the text message system. Make sure you're making it personal. And if you can, we just had on our last podcast, we just said, if it's not making you money, you shouldn't be doing it if it's not profitable, right? So you should hire somebody out to do this type of thing, because if you're doing it, it's not necessarily where you're supposed to be if you're running your company. So you need to get someone to do it, outsource it to Matt and Brian, because they're awesome. And you can see the value of that, I think, for everybody, because what you're doing is you're all of a sudden you're really following up with these people. You're having the touch points, and it becomes a conversation. And now feel like you know the person when it's a conversation versus like, hey, here's my product, go use it. I hope it works great for you. You've created this conversation going back and forth. I hate to say it, Jen and I are both single moms, so it's kind of like your mom going, hey, I'm still writing my son. Did you write your thank you notes? Hello, I texted him today. Like, I'm the accountability partner for him. So I love that you've got that. What are some other tips that you can give for accountability that you use for your systems, that whether they use you or somebody else they do on their own besides text messaging? What else would you say are some key things that really make a difference?
If we're talking other things other than text messaging, definitely face-to-face and mastermind groups are the other aspects of what we push heavily because they work. But I think the touch on accountability is you got to have something, and it can't be automated. I hate to say that, but I look at all the people who are using, these wonderful things called phones for their calendars and all those other things, and they constantly get these reminders saying, don't forget to do this. And if you look at how many people are actually doing what they say they're going to do, even by putting it on their calendar, it's not very high as far as an achievement rate. But the second that you tell someone about it, like you two, the single moms reminding your kids to do X, Y, and Z, there's a lot higher chance to get it done. And I would look at our system. We have a 98.5% achievement rate, and I can't tell you that it's because we have Grant Cardone on the other end of the phone. We have regular individuals who are, accomplished individuals. A lot of our accountability partners are business owners themselves, but it doesn't take someone superb to help these individuals have that kind of achievement. It's just simple accountability. So I think the number one tip out of all this, whether you use us or not, find a way to hold your people accountable and make sure that it's a real person on the other end. Whether it's text messaging or whether it's face-to-face, you got to do it because it works. So if you're a coach who has a program, don't just let the program, hang out there and float out there, because a lot of people can purchase programs I have and I forget about it. But if you can constantly keep reminding them, have a system that reminds them, they're going to fall in love with you. So,
yeah, and I would just say the same thing. Having a real person hold you accountable. It's fantastic to be able to have the calendar and whatnot. But think about all the people that value time and money, the people that are very well off that you respect. They have some form of accountability, whether that be a secretary. A lot of the times, these guys have secretaries. They have everything in the calendar. They can see it. But then the secretary says, hey, just a reminder, this is what's going to be happening. This is what you're going to be talking about. It's impossible to remember everything by yourself. But having a secretary, then some form of automation that shows you the calendar, but then having a real person tell you about it is fantastic. And kind of the last thing as far as what we do with Amplified Minds to make sure that everybody understands it is we white label what you do. So the Amplified Minds is the name, and we amplify what you do. We amplify your program. So if you have said program and you go, well, I want to outsource, but I want to make sure I'm the superstar, as Matt was saying. We make sure you're the superstar. They don't hear, the end clients, they don't know that you're using us because we look like you are the superhero that you are. You have this incredible team behind you that knows your program. Most coaches and speakers and mentors and influencers, they just don't have that already set up. And the time and the capital and all that goes into that, we can just make it happen for them right away. Yeah.
That's awesome. It comes to mind, I've been trying to drink more water, and I have an app, that helps you remind you to drink more water. But, you just ignore it because it just keeps coming in, 8 times a day, drink water. But when you actually have an accountability coach, or you have someone where like, you hire a fitness expert that you're going and he's giving you your nutrition plan and what you should work out and what you should eat. And then every week, and when I'm meeting with that person, they say, did you drink your water? And of course, I'm going to be more accountable to him than I am to an app that's telling me to drink water, because the app is easy to forget. And that person telling you and reminding you and the person in front of you, it's so much different when it's a real person and you actually do it. So I actually drink more water when I know that I have to go and tell him what I did for the week, right?
Can I say one thing just based on that?
Yeah.
That time from you.
Yeah.
I think that accountability, and you asked, what else can we give back? And I think the most inspirational thing behind accountability is that it's not all about business. I was on the phone with a gal yesterday who she made her claim to fame by interviewing all these millionaires and billionaires and creating books and podcasts and videos out of all of it. And with her, she shared a lot of stuff that was very, she became very vulnerable, and she shared a lot of personal stuff. And she told me that the only thing that got her through it was accountability. And that's the only reason why she got through some of her hard times. I know for me, when I had all that stuff happen to me when I was younger, I became depressed and even suicidal, where I had the suicidal thoughts going through my head frequently. And it was the individuals who were holding me accountable who helped me climb out of that. It's a lot harder to deal with challenges ourselves when we have to take it in here, when we can't express it to everyone else. When we have to handle it by ourselves, it's a lot more difficult than if other people are willing to come in and help us. So I would say, if I were to give any tips or advice to anybody, it's whatever you're going through, go tell someone about it. Go find an accountability partner. It doesn't have to just be business. It can be, but if you're dealing with, exercise, you need to, lose weight, or maybe you drink more water, maybe you have, marital problems, or you want to be a better mom or dad, go tell someone and ask for their help and allow them to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
All great people have their coaches, right? So why not?
Absolutely. And I'm going to share real quick, because I related to you, Brian, with my son. So he was, the teachers told him the same thing. Hey, you're going to take this, I tried to fight to get him in this advanced class, and they finally agreed. They're like, you're going to fail this class. All the rest of your grades are going to go down. He went from a 1.9 to a 4.2. So just, I think, having that challenge, and the same thing, people tell him that he couldn't do it, but what we did, we had our secret weapon, and it was accountability. So I hired this woman, and she would go in and curate all of his homework like a secretary, and then she would send him, hey, this is all the stuff that you have a test next week, and every day you'd get an email from her, and then she'd call him 3 times a week. Hey, what do you have? Do you need any trouble? Do you need any resources? So he had this, and I told him, I would rather pay for that than a tutor if it's effective. It was like having a personal secretary. I said, CEOs have personal secretaries all the time, right? To help them do that. So it's the same kind of thing that you guys do. It's having that person. It made all the difference. And people are like, how did he do that? And I go, well, he has a secret weapon.
Yeah. No, I love that. There's a Ray Dalio. He has a book called Principles, and it's like Principle 3, the life principles that he's developed over time, and he's one of the wealthiest people on this planet. But it's being open-minded, and you can tell a closed-minded person from an open-minded person by accountability. Are they using someone else to hold them accountable? If they're not, typically they're closed-minded individuals. If they are, they're very open-minded. So if you don't take it from us, take it from one of the world's wealthiest people, Ray Dalio, and get yourself an accountability buddy, an accountability partner, because they'll make all the difference for you in your life.
Yeah, it's true. Where do we find you guys?
AmplifiedMinds.com, and that's AmplifiedMinds. A lot of people say amplify. It's AmplifiedMinds.com.
Yeah, and then if you scroll through that website, go to the bottom. Actually, even throughout the front page, there's a number. If you guys give us a call, we would love to be able to talk to you, be able to figure out how we can help you out, point you in the right direction. We are here to be able to help you out. As I said, our goal is to be able to help you guys achieve your goals.
Yeah. And make sure you tell them that you saw them here on Elite Expert Insider podcast. We would love that. So you guys have a great time, tons of great content. We really appreciate it. Remember to subscribe to this podcast. And if you're looking to write a book and become an author, then there's no better place to do that than with Jen and I. We own Elite Publishing. So eliteonlinepublishing.com, you can find us there. We have over 50 authors that we have made #1 bestsellers. And we have over 1,800 books on Amazon. So we know what we're doing. doing. So please contact us there. And remember, subscribe to our podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
If you'd like to create the most powerful advertising tool for your business, contact us at EliteOnlinePublishing.com, where we will help you create, publish, and make your book a #1 bestseller, and show you how to get new leads and more revenue for your business. If you'd like to check us out on our Facebook page, we have a free book for you as our gift. Just go and click Free Book. Remember to subscribe and leave a comment for our podcast. We would love to hear from you.